I'm like, wow, yeah, he's probably that guy that has like a girlfriend that's always cleaning for him, like all this shit, right? Judgment, perspective. And then I go to the bathroom, I pee. When I flush, I realize that the water's still yellow. So I'm like, yo, I'm making all these judgments on someone because of my perspective, when in reality, it's like, it can be something completely different.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome back. We got another episode. We got an awesome guest today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure to. Whoa, this is on Patreon. I always forget.
Yeah.
So
you're already watching. If you're watching, you're already on
Patreon. If you're here, you're on Patreon. If you're listening to us on the go, Spotify, and the podcast, check us out on Patreon. Watch the full episodes. If not, you ain't got time. We got short clips on YouTube. You can check us out over there. We're also on social media: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and
got a website, coffeebreakup.com. Check us out.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. Forgot all about that shit.
All the platforms.
We got Twitter. Yeah, we're on everything. Check us out. Coffee Breakup Pod, the Coffee Breakup. Search us up. You'll find us somewhere. Thank you so much for the support. And
let's jump in. We got an exciting guest.
Cristy,
what's up? How are you?
What's up, guys? I'm super excited. I've been following you guys for a minute.
I know.
Thank you.
I think we've been trying to make this happen for a little bit. We took a little break. But here we are. See,
everything
happens for a reason. We found it. Yeah, we found it. We
won't talk about it.
No. We found a way back. We found a way back.
Hell yeah.
That's fun.
But how are you? I know you messaged us and you're like, hey, I want to get back on. I want to get on the show. Let's make this happen. And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah, that's how usually I get shit done. If I don't hear a response, I'm like, hey, I'm still here. Hey, I'm still lurking. What's up?
That's good.
Yeah, man, you gotta be persistent. And we have had a lot going on too in the last couple of months. And so for a while, we didn't even record. So there was like about 3 months where we didn't record. We had content, saved up.
Yes.
But while we were working on the studio, we didn't even record anything. Yeah. So you're the third guest. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
You're the third guest.
That's a good problem to have a bunch of content, but then also it's like overwhelming. So you're like, all right, I got to keep up with the demand. I got my studio now.
Yeah, that's especially now with the editor. Like, we're kind of like overwhelming him. But, hey, you're doing an awesome job, Alex.
You're the best.
Watching this
go a little faster.
He's doing the best he can. The thing is that we gave him a buffer. So when we had all this content kind of saved up for us to build out the studio, he was able to he had time and then he would do it. But now since it's like every week, like we're trying to do more stuff, more content.
Yeah.
But hey, you're amazing. Thank you for everything that you do, Alex. Over on the other side of the world.
Yep, up in the Philippines.
Oh, those are the best editors.
He's the best.
He's great. He works so hard. So he deserves.
They work for their money. They really do. And they talk to you so nicely too. They're like, anything you want, yes, we'll work with it. I'm like, you're definitely not from America.
Yeah, he's great. We got to bring him on here. When we blow up, we'll give him a visa.
Yeah, hell
we'll get him a visa.
We'll sponsor him.
Alex, we got you.
Sure. If he wants
Sponsor Alex.
If he wants to. But yes, so tell us a little bit about yourself. For people who do not know you, usually start off the show by kind of giving an introduction about the guest so people can expect who we're talking to.
Yeah, with that question, it's like the same thing when people ask you, like, how are you? And you're like, what part of me do you want to know about? And then they're like, how are you really doing? I'm like, the emotions. All right, I got it. Yeah, but I'm from Puerto Rico, born and raised. I went to high school with my surfboard right after school. It was like all dudes and then me, just like running to the waves. So I always know that that's why I'm the way I am, because I was born and raised in Puerto Rico and I had that childhood. Of course, I had a bunch of fucking trauma. Can I cuss in this podcast?
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
that's how I fully express myself sometimes. It comes from the heart, not from anything else. Okay. But yeah, and then at 15, I moved to America.
Nice. Yeah. Well, isn't Puerto Rico still part of the America?
I mean, I guess it's a
but not really.
Trying to be independent, but not really. I do have a passport, which is awesome. Now I appreciate that because I see how people really struggle coming in and like they don't have, their citizenship and they gotta pay people and sometimes.
But as a Puerto Rican, I mean, can't you just come here and like declare citizenship, or
you're already born.
You're a citizen.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, full American.
Okay.
With a side of sass, Yeah.
Side of sass, yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you now? If you don't mind me asking.
31. I really don't mind you asking. And funny, I have 20-year-olds now hitting on me. So I'm like at that mark where it's like they know you're old enough, like mature enough, but then like you look young enough to kind of date you. So I'm like reached that point. It never happened to me in my like late 20s. It's like after I turned 30, it was like,
I'm telling you,
hey
man.
girl, what's up?
Man, a drone. Once you hit 30, it's like, oh shit.
Oh shit, it's a whole new world.
A whole new world.
Yeah, Disney style.
Do you feel like you gravitate towards younger guys, or
Such a good question.
because you brought it up? So that's
You
what I'm
did
asking.
say,
Yeah, I did. I did
on
open
mine.
this.
Hey, hey.
I didn't mention younger guys.
Hey.
Hey, what's up? So, they look great, you know, and usually like their body is like a child, but like an adult. So it's like they have like a perfect form and like they're lean and their skin looks good. You know, it's like all these like great qualities. And they can like hold a conversation usually. Like usually the guys that like would hit on me, you know, they were like, they know what I'm about. They know I like talking like deep and about emotional intelligence and all this shit. So they're like, you know, right away they can tell with my demeanor how I talk. But then there comes that point that it's like, you're a child. You know, like there's like that definitive moment that they keep saying the same thing, or then they like, it doesn't go deeper.
They don't have as much experience.
They don't have as much experience. So that's what cut it up for me. I tried it with one guy and I was like, oh, yeah, hell yeah.
How old was he?
He was 23.
And how old were you at the time?
30. So, yeah.
Okay. No,
Straight up.
I like
No
it,
shame. What's up?
I like it. That's what's up.
J-Lo style.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, if I was 23 and then I had a chance with a 30-year-old, hell yeah, I'll take it.
I would tell all my friends.
Yo, she's 30. Oh, shit. She got friends?
She got friends? Yeah. She don't got friends, she got problems. Yeah. So that lasted for like a month or so. And then I was like, you know what? I want to be committed single. Like, I want to be single and secure. I heard that somewhere. And I was like, hell yeah. That sounds kind of impossible, right? Because we all have insecurities. But yeah. But I think I'm going too ahead of myself right now. You asked about me, and I'm just talking all this.
No, I like it. We dived right in.
Hell yeah.
That's it. And obviously, so now you're single, and you are...
I'm not single.
You're not single?
Oh, you're not?
Newly wrapped up in a gift, and I'm out of the box, and I'm...
Nice.
How long has that been going on?
For like a month.
Okay.
So it's fresh.
How old is he?
He's 37.
Okay.
So I like switch it up.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
That's how I tend to do, one extreme or the other. That
Lesson
balance,
learned.
that shit is hard to get,
Lesson
man. Yeah,
learned.
it really is.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're on the other spectrum. Do you feel like you notice a big difference in dating guys on that end, or...
They're like
more
rougher. I like rough men. Like, I love men that have gone through shit that, like, I call them like the anointed men. Like the men that like have, you know, if we're just getting like really, you know, graphic, like, you know, they've done drugs, maybe a little heroin on the side, you know. Like,
Heroin? No, I didn't.
no, I'm kidding.
Get your checklist.
Yeah.
All right, good with kids.
Yeah,
great
good with
family.
kids,
I've
great
done
family,
heroin.
and yes, there we go. Now found God as a new palette. That's my man.
Nice.
Yeah. No, but I love the roughness. Like, I love shit that when I look in your eyes, I see a soul. Like, I see a fire. And usually that comes with men that have seen shit, have gone through shit. You know, they're not afraid to look at fear in the eyes and learn through the fear, you know, not avoid the fear.
I like
so it's a very different kind of man.
I think that just it just sounds like older men are going to be more in your wheelhouse because they've obviously, not that older men are more experienced, but they have more time to build more experiences because they've just been on earth longer.
Yeah.
And I think that it just makes more sense for you and what you're looking for. Because a younger guy, they may look pretty, but what do you know? You don't know shit about life. So I think like now I think you realize that maybe young is not the way to go.
Especially for you, because I feel like you have so much depth to it.
Yeah, and it keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper.
Sure.
Like it's like I had a friend one time be like, when are you gonna stop growing and like working on yourself? And I actually thought about it. I'm like, shit, like I do have that thing that it's never enough. Like I'm always wanting more from life, from relationships, from like. But I was like, never, because like I'm constantly looking at myself, waking up and be like, well, that's a new thought. I wonder what the root cause of that is, you know? And like I just keep going. So and I'm multidimensional.
Multidimensional.
That's a tough word to say.
Yeah, I know, right?
Y'all taking heroin or something?
I know. What's up? I got some in the car. Hell yeah. So
That's true, man. I mean, I always say like there's different seasons in life. And you go through one season, and then it's like certain experiences shape you into the person you are today.
Yes.
But in a year from now, you're gonna be a completely different person.
Completely.
Even when me and Chris we started off the podcast 2.5 years ago, it was completely different versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so now when I look in the mirror, it's almost unrecognizable, but in a good way.
Yes.
Because you've
we
gone
would
through
hope.
stuff, and even my relationship with Claudia is different than it was a year ago.
Because you're changing.
Because I'm changing, so
Yes.
is she, and so we're both growing, not together. We just happen to be together, and so we both
Yes.
grow separately. And then it's like it's an interesting experience to have. And when you share that bond with somebody, and you pull and you go in one direction, they go in the other direction, but you always kind of keep finding each other. And I think that's a beautiful thing
Yes.
about life, about a relationship. And so to answer that, what your friend was saying, there's never a moment in your life where you don't change.
No.
It's always continuing.
Yeah, it's and I also think we're very fortunate to be in the situation that we are, and being able to invite people and meet them and talk to them,
Yeah.
because then it allows us to really be very open about our mindset and our way of
Yes.
thinking. Because I think this morning, for example, with the issue that we had,
Yeah.
it's almost like, well, there's certain things that people are telling you, and then now you start believing that. But
Yes.
for us, being able to speak to so many people, am I good?
Yeah.
To speak to so many people and learn and be more open-minded of those others' opinions, we're now more mature in the sense of, well, we know who we are. We're secure within ourselves because we know, we just talked about everything. We've learned so
Yes.
much about
Yeah.
different people and how they tick.
Yes.
So it's like we're able to now understand ourselves, where being in a relationship, it almost fortifies it even more because we're able to deliver a secure package over to our partner.
Yes.
And I think that also helps with everything that we've been able to do here and
Yeah.
learn by all those people
Yeah,
as well.
So-
and it's
so
all about the perspective. Like I realized about my life, like whenever I'm set in stone about something that I think it's this way, man, I have been an ass because I've made myself look like an ass. Because then I'm like, for example, something so simple. I was waiting for this guy to come out of the bathroom. The seat was up and the water looked a little yellow, right? And immediately I'm like, this motherfucker, like he didn't flush, like he left the seat on,
Wet, everything didn't
whatever. Well, that wasn't wet. It was just like the water, the color of the water. I'm like, wow, yeah, he's probably that guy that has like a girlfriend that's always cleaning for him, like all this shit, right? Judgment, perspective. And then I go to the bathroom, I pee. When I flush, I realize that the water's still yellow. So I'm like, yo, I'm making all these judgments on someone because of my perspective, when in reality, it's like, and can be something completely different. So
Wow.
talking about you, it's like, yeah, when you start hearing kind of the same story, but from a different perspective, you get to really understand how people operate. And you don't know everything,
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
nothing.
You don't know,
Yeah.
right?
No. The
great minds say
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And it's like the more you're aware of that, the better you are. Because the people who think they know everything, the worst people to be around.
Well,
Because I walk in a
of
room and I'm like, I have no idea. Teach me. I want to.
Teach
I'm like a
me.
sponge. I want to learn.
Yeah.
And whether that it's at work, with my friends, with Chris and I, my relationship.
And even when you feel certain about something and someone has an opposing view, I'm still like, I want to hear your point of view.
Yes.
Because there's got to be a reason why you're thinking differently from me.
Yes. What have you
Educate
been
me.
through?
Tell me why you think that way,
Yes.
and then I'll be like, oh, fuck. Same thing with the BLOP in the thing. Because you're like, oh, this whole time this fucking asshole, but then
Yeah,
you
well,
flush and you're like,
oh, shit.
it's
It's broken.
still- yeah, it's
Toilet's
broken.
But
Yeah.
having that mentality with anyone who just has a very different, or maybe someone who just doesn't agree with a different perspective,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, you want to know what? I know I have a belief, but clearly there's a reason why you're not agreeing with me.
Yes.
Instead of me trying to force you to, like,
yeah.
you know what? Let me hear you out.
Curiosity.
And then if I give you the chance to speak and I'm listening, I think you owe it to me to listen to what I have to say.
Right.
And let's be fair here.
But to be honest,
I'm giving you the chance. Maybe you should give me one too.
Yes.
And then everything will be like, oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I love what you said about being a sponge. And like, I always hear being childlike is the way to live, right? Because when you're a child, you're a sponge. Between the age of 3 and 8, that's when you're like most receptive to your environment, right? That's when you're molding yourself. That's when you're growing like a narrative, what you believe about yourself, what do you believe about people, your environment, right?
Yeah.
So in that stage, you're receptive, you're more open to learning, right?
Yeah.
And like if you are childlike today, that means that you are being childlike, not childish, right? You're
Yeah.
not being childish. Childish is like not paying your bills, like, you know, like all this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's all about that mind, keeping the mind open, you know?
Yeah.
It is so important, and it's funny because I was reading this article, and it's like and I think that's the key to having a happier life is having that inner child alive.
Yes.
Because I was reading this article, and it says when time we perceive time a lot faster the older we get because we have less new experiences. That's why when you're a child, I told you this. That's why when you're a child, I'll send you that article over. Mind blowing. When you're a child, a year feels like an eternity. Why?
Yes.
You have so many new experiences. Every day is like a new journey.
Yes.
And the older we get, how many more experiences we have? Less and less and less. Monday to Friday, it's always the same. So our mind perceives time in a different way.
Yes.
So I think a key in having a happier life and having a better life is also creating new experiences,
Yes.
new memories, new skills. You never
Yes.
stop learning.
Yes.
So I think that's super important.
And if we simplify it even more, I mean, have you ever had to do a road trip?
Of course.
And you know
all
when
day,
you're taking the
every
road
day.
trip, you're
Yeah.
like, yo, this shit is taking forever.
True.
Yeah.
But then the ride back, it's like this. Because
Yeah.
you already had that expectation. You
reckon,
already kind
yeah.
of have the idea of what it is. If we really simplify it to everyday things,
Yes.
then it applies the same.
Yeah.
You know, we that new experience of having that first road trip, you're like, yo, it's taking forever. Where are we gonna get there? How much longer? Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Now this thing, and then on the way back, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, because you already kind of had that experience.
Yes.
So just simplifying like that and applying that to everything else of what he's saying,
Yes.
that's a very easy way to kind of just understand.
But it makes so
that
much
concept.
sense.
It's exactly.
Because it happens to everybody.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think about it all the time. I'm sorry to kind of to drag, but even at work, like my life right now is very routine. Like I go to work, I
Same,
leave,
yeah.
and I'm surprised. Like we're halfway through October.
I know.
Like, you know what I mean? And this whole entire year, like a whole year almost has passed, and I've just been going to work and going to the gym and
How many new experiences have you made this year?
Rarely
Yeah.
because of that. But then I start thinking, like, man, if only I did create these experiences, because every single time there's something new, time does feel like it drags a little bit longer.
Yes.
But you get to enjoy that because it's something that you're new experiencing at that moment. But other than that, like if I'm at work, by the time like I punch out, I'm like, day's almost over.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
just that
it's
same
like that
routine
cycle,
he's saying. It's
yes.
not a new experience.
Yeah.
So then I apply that to my life. I mean, I can't believe we're already halfway through October.
Yeah.
Almost a year is over. And I feel like the new year was yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just my whole life has just been routine this whole entire year.
But I bet before I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. But imagine if you did.
I love it.
I'm sorry.
Keep going, keep
But
going.
imagine if you didn't work Monday through Friday, and every day was a different thing. You would go to learn a new skill, do yoga,
Yes.
do this or that.
Yeah.
How long would 1 week feel? Fucking
Ever.
Eternity.
Like, it's only Wednesday.
Exactly. Sorry to cut you off. I
Eternity.
apologize.
Yeah.
No,
Go ahead.
I'm enjoying this. And that's when we talk about the flow state. That's what
Yeah.
happened just now. It's like you're just like, woo,
You just shooting.
yeah. It's like the ocean, baby. Ride the
We're vibing,
wave.
we're
Vibing. Hell yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. So where are you now in life when it comes to like you are we talked about it earlier. You a coach,
What
a
do you do?
mentor. What do you do for a living?
Who are you?
I hate the question. I know it's like
No,
and
no.
we talked
it's a
about it
great
earlier. We don't want to like
question.
categorize ourselves, but at the end of the day, officially award. What's your title? What's your title?
Yeah. You know what's wild? Like now that I'm 31, I think that there's like this new perspective, like in just question within me. It's like, am I really living life? Like, am I truly living fully? Every time I wake up, I'm like, fuck yes. I'm excited to be alive. I'm excited for new experiences, you know, like, and I realize like, yeah, of course, routine is really good for my mental health. Not gonna lie. Like I need
Sure.
some stability, some sense of like, I'm safe, you know, like we all want to be safe. You know, that's why we also have routine, at least
Yeah.
from my experience. But I realized like recently, I got laid off. I was working at this mental health company as a mentor, as a coach. Prior to that, I still have my own practice, right? Like I do life coaching, emotional healing. Inner child healing. We were talking about the child.
Yeah.
That's like my fucking forte. Like, cause my inner child is alive. And like to the point that I'm like, I want to help people through my own experience truly let their inner child out so that they can truly feel alive, right? Like as a child, you're playful, you're learning, you're asking questions, you're learning meeting new people. Like I always love those videos of like kids, like when they just like go to strangers. And I saw this one with this little girl, and there was like, hi, how are you? And then the older people were like, oh my god, this is so nice, like someone coming to me and acknowledging me. And then she just kept going around and around and around, just saying hi to people.
Was it on an airplane?
No, it was like at this festival, but I want to see the airplane.
I saw one that was similar, that they were like, hi.
I know. Hi.
It's like this innocence that you see.
Innocence. And like that's truly how I want to be today. And I can't suppress my inner child, because that's when I become depressed, sad, I hate life. I think the fears come up, like when I suppress my inner child. Mm-hmm. So going back to what you were saying, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
In that though, when I had my big moment, I feel like we all have our moments where like something changes, that you're like, that epiphany, that awakening, right? That we talk about. It's like, I don't want to keep doing this shit because it's suppressing my soul.
Yeah.
It's killing me, right? It's like, I don't find that joy in life, that excitement. I put in the middle, I was like, I just want to be free. Freedom, right? Free in everything, in the clothes I wear, how I express myself, the people I have around me let me be free and like laugh like a freaking idiot all the time and like a witch, I call it my witch laugh. But it's like, I want freedom to feel free in everything I do. So when I got laid off recently, I was like, I can go back, right? I have my practice, right? My personal practice. But I was like, what else do I want for myself, right? Like, if I go back to the known, it's like, all right, I can go back to a 9-to-5, right? That's easy money, whatever, right? It will feed my fear of financial insecurity, right? That was the fear that was coming up for me. Can I take care of myself? Yet, if I want to be free, can I still make money doing something I love that makes me feel free? Right? And just go full force, something new, something like inner child style, right? Like, and a new experience. So recently, this week, before I came here, I did my certification for yachting. So I'm going to do my personal practice and be free in a freaking boat and travel for free. And like, that,
be on somebody, like on a boat, on somebody else's boat?
Yeah, so literally, well, it's like private yachts, right? Okay. But it's like I'm going to be a stew, so I'm going to be like doing service, like, like doing people's laundry, things like that, which I really don't mind doing laundry. That's why I actually love doing laundry.
But it's another experience if you meet different people and visit different places,
different place, being free, right? That's traveling and doing it a smart way, an adult way, right? It's like all my expenses are paid off and I still get to adventure and wander through Earth.
So how does that, because you were saying you were seeing somebody, how does that work? Or how is that going to work?
This is a great question.
I don't think they've come across that yet.
Because you've been dating for a month.
Are there different kinds of relationships? Not every relationship is miserable and people try to control you. Yeah. Trust can be in a relationship.
We don't have that down here in Miami.
No, we do not. That's why I
Trust
moved out.
in relationships? We don't do that here.
Right. It's like, what are you doing? Where are you? Why are you not texting me? I have abandonment issues. Please text me back. I love you. Please don't leave me. You know?
No, I mean, hopefully not to that extreme. But it could happen. But yeah, I mean, I guess you haven't come across, because you haven't like actually started, right? But how would that go? How would that look like?
So that's a great question. In the yachting world, you can do a little bit of everything. You can go offshore, for 4 months, right? Oh, wow. And or you can do like day-to-day charter, like those like private yachts that they go out, rich people, and you serve them and all this stuff. But I love connecting, as you guys can probably tell. Of course. So bringing it back to relationship, right? Because it's a relationship podcast.
No, we can talk about anything. We can talk about
anything. Yeah, it's like I asked him, because I already knew, because he was like one of my best friends for 7 months. So like I already knew how he operated, the way he was, the way he let me be, So I already knew what his answer was gonna be. Yeah. But I was like, yo, if I get a gig for 2 weeks to the Bahamas, would you be okay with that? He's like, hell yeah, I'll support you. Like, go be free, because he knows freedom is important to me. So he supports that, he doesn't try to take it away. Which
I think is important to live your life on your own means, because that will attract the person. You say it all the time. Yeah. It's stick to your lifestyle, and then you'll attract that person who's going to support your lifestyle, rather than changing yourself for someone and then losing your identity and then not having that freedom, because now you feel like your identity is tied to the way that their perspective.
That's how you lose yourself.
You lose yourself, and the next thing you know, 2-3 years go by, and you're like, man, I'm not happy. Who am I?
Who am I? Oh! Synchronicity.
I love that. Yeah. But it does happen.
That's a good clip.
That is a clip. Alex, do you think?
Keep it going.
But yeah, and it's so important to, and I always say, you got to choose the lifestyle you want to live over the person that you want to be with. Because the right person will align yourself, or they will have the same lifestyle and the same vision as you.
The same vision.
Same vision, right? You know, so, and you could be in different paths in your life, but they have to, you know, believe in the same things that you do. You know, and you have to be compatible. And it starts from the beginning.
Yeah, and foundations, right? Like maybe, I don't know why this keeps coming up, but like, you know, leaving your seat up, right? That's like, I call this like having your partner ideal, right? So there's 3 columns to this, right? There's the non-negotiables, right? Communication, someone respecting your boundaries, someone, you know, all these things. Then there's the second column for me is like important but negotiable, right? Okay. So it's like, you know, leaving your seat up, it's important to me that you take consideration of like, you know, me going after you and like peeing, right? But it's like, it's negotiable. I'm not gonna leave you for that shit.
Fair enough.
And then the third column is the icing on the top, right? It's like they're important, and this would be like, like, you know, it's not non-negotiable.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
But it's nice.
But it's a little sprung on the top. Okay, you know, it's like. You know, and I don't know, like maybe a massage every day, you know? I don't know.
Every day?
Hey, it's not necessary, but
I'll take it.
A little foot massage, all right?
That is true.
You know, so that's how when I was in my single and secure stage, I did my partner ideal. Because, like, I was like, I really should up there, you know? And there's not this, like, guy that, like, can really... You know, it's like how girls say, it's like, that guy will never come to me. You know, that guy doesn't exist. Yeah. I'm like, well, it's going to exist in my freaking ideal, you know? And so I did my partner ideal. And naturally, like how you're saying, that person comes to you because you're open to it. You're looking, you know, you're receptive.
They gravitate to you too. And I truly believe that, you know, when you put that out there, when you have that perception about yourself and you stand by your values, people will gravitate to you.
And they feel attracted to that. I've had 100%. The opposite. I've had like me being a woman, like secure and all this shit, right? I still have my insecurities, right? I'm not perfect, but more constant than not, I feel very strong in myself and who I am. Yeah. Naturally, some guys don't like that.
Yeah. You feel like they're intimidated by you?
Very much so.
No, of course, because she can't be manipulated. She's not submissive.
Or controlled.
Or controlled.
Yeah, try me.
I mean, unless she finds the right man who she can feel her feminine and be submissive on her terms. Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of, hey, I'm the man. No. You as a woman should be submissive.
Yeah. Automatically.
Because you're a woman.
Exactly.
And you're my woman.
Exactly.
Type shit. Yeah.
I think that's a no-go.
Well, I want to be a girl, right? I want to be cute. And like, you know, when you say you love me, we get shy, you know, things like that. I want to be vulnerable. Yeah. Right. But whenever I'm in that fight or flight state, right, of like constantly like someone's going to hurt me, my masculine comes out, you know, and my feminine is like nurturing. My feminine is soft, right? So it's like, I want to be safe with a man where he's the man. I'll let you be a man, right? But it's like, I naturally submit to you, right? But it's still in my power, right? But because I feel safe.
Exactly. Like she's in control of being submissive. Like I want to feel comfortable getting into that submissive state with you instead of feel the need because you're the man. I need to always be submissive to you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, generally speaking, that is what women tend to prefer, or that naturally want to fall into that state?
Yeah, listen, any girl that tells you like, I want to work all the time, or, you know, I want to take care of myself, I want to protect myself, you know, it's like, yo, that's like a survival tactic like that you've developed because you feel unafraid in this world, right? So it's like every time I wake up, for example, I literally like hold myself and I'm like, I'm safe today. I'm safe in my body, right? Letting that feminine come in. Because for so long, I was like ready to fucking fight. Like, try me. Say something to trigger my fears, right? And I'm gonna hurt you first. And that's how I approach a lot of my relationships. I was already waiting for that shoe to drop, you know, and I feel like that was like my masculine trying to protect me, right? So back to your question, I feel like a lot of girls have been hurt so much by their father, by their brother, right?
Yeah.
Maybe or an actual relationship, a bad
Or
yeah.
relationship, you know, like it starts, it's like that male figure wasn't safe, so they naturally have to be their own male figure to protect themselves. So it's like it's a distortion, right? Because at the end of the day, we are feminine, you know.
Damn.
That's deep, and it's hard. I think once you have regard up for a woman, I would imagine when you find somebody who you can be feminine, it's maybe hard at first, right, to kind of let your guard go and let down and let yourself be who you really want to be.
Exactly.
You know, because who knows for how many years you had to be somebody, you know, or had to have that instinct, the natural survival instinct, when you just wanted to be, you know, a woman.
Loved and a
Yeah,
woman.
and loved, yeah.
Let me do your laundry, you know? I got you.
Yeah.
And hyper independence comes in this too. Have you guys heard of what hyper
No,
independence is?
first time. Have you heard of it?
No.
Elaborate, please.
So a girl, I don't need no man.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Hyper independence.
So what about it?
Okay, so that's like survival tactic too. Like it's like a mechanism that they've developed of like hyper, you know, we all want to be independent, right? We want to not be saved, right? It's like, I'm good, I can take care of myself, you'll be an addition to me. But when you're hyper independent, you like cut guys' balls, because you're like, you don't let them, you know, take you out on a nice day just because they want to, like, you know, because they love you and they just want to do something nice. Hyper independent woman is like, I got it, you know?
Yeah, or like you open the door for somebody. You said it. You open the door for somebody, and it's like, no, I can open the door for myself.
For myself.
I know, bitch. I'm just
I
trying
know,
to be
bitch.
nice. Let me open the door. I know.
Let her know.
Let me. I just out of kindness. I don't need anything in return. Yeah, here's the door.
But because they're like this,
Yeah.
it's like they're ready to fucking fight, you
Yeah.
know. And I call that the hyper. It's something that they develop to protect themselves. And I fell in that, so I'm not judging. I was that, you know, and I get tired, you know. And you get tired of being.
That's
strong all the
exhausting. Almost
time.
like, how do you feel like you can get out of that? Do you feel like, because you said you've been there, are there certain steps that you could take as a woman to kind of fight your way out of there?
Yeah,
Figure this. But yeah, like, is there something you can do, or?
Well, the first step for me was it was surrender. It was like, I'm just saying, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to pretend that I'm strong all the time. I'm tired of not letting people in and having my walls up all the time and having to have my fists up all the time, right?
I'm tired of not being free. I'm tired of not being myself. I'm tired of being someone I'm not. I think that's what it is.
That's it.
Right? All right. Hey, show's
Mic
over.
drop.
Thank you. But I think that's what it is.
Let me pay you. Like, you
right?
be my therapist. Yeah, that's it right there. I'm tired of pretending something I'm not. Because when you're in the hyper independence, like at least for me, I always had to put different masks. I'm like, all right, like I would assess you. Okay, he likes it when I laugh like this. I'm gonna laugh like this. All right, he likes like when, you know, he laughs when I say this. I'm gonna say this more, right? It's like you're constantly, and like imagine your brain.
It's a nightmare. Like trying to be somebody you're not.
hell.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It's hell for me.
That is kind of annoying, yeah. It's like you're having to force yourself to learn something that you really probably don't even want to learn.
Yeah, to begin with.
Because you know that it's going to please someone else, but not
Yeah.
truly please you.
Yeah.
Like imagine being like handcuffed to that idea of like, I always have to kind of change or learn everything about them in order for them to like me and have the right conversations when it's not really who I am.
Eesh.
You imagine, dude?
It's tough, man. I feel like it's tough being, I don't
What?
know, because I'm trying
What?
to think. I think it's hard being a woman in a society, like in terms of like from the dating aspect. I mean, I don't know if maybe I'm misinterpreting it, but because you at one side, yeah, like you don't really want to rely on a guy, because there's guys who are gonna fuck you over. But the other end, it's like, well, if you're gonna go into it with that mentality, then you're already gonna set yourself up for almost like failure. So it's like, damn it if you do, damn it if you don't. Almost like, sorry.
11:58. You have an alarm? What happens at 11:58 on Saturdays?
What happens? Are we gonna get donuts?
No,
Like,
no.
what's up?
I gotta do something for somebody. You guys keep talking. That's why I know I put it for work. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. I
But,
have that too, so I don't
No
forget.
wonder. Well, regardless, I did have a question because I did want to learn a little bit more about your background in the sense of your own practice and healing and everything that you do. Yeah.
Why?
What the fuck is? Yeah. Can you talk about that? Like, how does that even happen?
Well, I was a raging alcoholic.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, not cool, but shit.
No, yeah. I now it's cool.
When was this?
It was 4.5 years ago. I was like that girl, like the girl that you're like, I'm not gonna bring you to my mom.
Jesus.
You know, like just like embarrassing myself constantly.
But was it like you'd go out to like events or like public places and you're like drinking and then you just didn't know when to stop, or you would just drink because it's Saturday at 11:58 in the morning?
So, you know, like that. You know when you go out and you're like, I'm gonna have one drink.
Yeah.
Just one. For the first time in my life, I'm just gonna have one fucking drink. And then I'm like, my girls would be like, another drink. 2 drinks. All right, I can do 2 drinks. I can still go home,
Fine,
right?
just one more. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know, they something ignites. It's like a switch. Some people can go home. They're like, you know, I'm tired. I got work tomorrow. That's like the responsible thing to do.
Responsible.
Is it you?
That's super me, yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
don't even
beautiful.
like going out. Take one drink, I'm like, all right, time to go.
Man, I honestly, those are the people that I admire the most.
Really?
Because I can never just have one.
No, yeah, I can. They call me boring. I say I don't care. I tell them I'm tired.
Yeah, I'm telling
Call me, I
them.
don't care. I'm going to
I got
bed.
shit to do.
Yeah, but if you drink one drink, like I might as well just have 2.
Yeah.
No, it starts. No, fuck that.
No, but some people can, and I would always like be like, wow.
Yeah.
That's like a specimen. That's
Yeah,
something that I don't know
yeah.
what's it like, but I admire that.
Uh-huh.
From 3 drinks, something is like boiling inside of me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to F shit up, you know? Like, and from there, it's like, all right, where are we going next?
Yeah.
And then I would end up at 11 at 7 in the morning doing lines of coke.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, you know, is this okay to talk about it here?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about heroin at this point. I think that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So from that, it's like I lost myself. Talking about losing yourself, you know? It's like, you know, and I couldn't hold a relationship, of course.
Couldn't even hold on with yourself. You're all over the place. You didn't know who you were.
Speak the truth, brother.
So then what happened? So then that's going on. You were drinking all this stuff, but then clearly you're in a different space right now.
Completely different.
So
I don't
what
recognize
happened
that person anymore.
So you were doing this, you felt like, okay, I'm an alcoholic 4 years ago, all this stuff.
Yeah.
What happened for you to say, okay, I got to do something different, and then we'll go from there?
So it was Father's Day weekend. I already knew I had a problem because I was like, man, like, can I just go home when I say I'm going to go home? Sometimes I can, right? Sometimes it's like, oh shit, I got it. But a lot of times, more often than not, it got progressively worse. That's the thing. At first it's fun. It's like everyone's doing it. And then you turn into that girl that's like embarrassing. You know, it's like she's on
She
top
can't just have one drink.
Yeah, or she's always looking for that next excitement, next high. It's like, yo, can we chill? Like, sometimes I can chill, but more often than not, I couldn't, right? So it got to the point, it was my high school reunion. And back in high school, it was a hot mess still. And I was like, I'm going to prove to them that I've changed. What a joke. Yo, what a joke. Like, we ended up being in Bodega. You guys know Bodega.
Sure.
Yeah, that place is lit.
Yeah.
So was there, obviously was drinking because I was nervous. And, you know, and that's the thing that got me like drinking was my insecurities. It's like when I drink, I don't give a shit, you know? And it's like I can be more wild, more free.
So you thought.
So I thought.
Free at the hands of alcohol. At the clutches of alcohol.
Enslaved to alcohol. That's why it's like I can't be free without this, because if I don't have this, then I start like questioning everything about myself. I don't know who I am. I hate myself because when I drink, you know. So Father's Day weekend, that high school reunion, to sum it all up, I woke up on that Sunday on the floor of a lobby with everyone walking around me.
No way.
And me calling all 10 of my boyfriends trying to be saved, right? Because I'm, like, embarrassed. I need someone to, like, validate me to make me feel better, right? You know, that shit. And then I was like, I think I got a problem. Like, I didn't want this to happen, right?
Again,
I don't trust myself. I'm afraid of myself at this point. It's like I need help. And that's where the starting of my own healing journey happened. I was like, if I keep doing shit like this, and I remember one of the first things I said to my mentor is like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed because it's like, Every time I do something that I think I'm doing it, you know, to be happy and have fun.
Free. Then I end up on
Free.
a hotel lobby or whatever
Past
Fucked up.
with
that,
no control over myself.
yo.
And this is where I find myself.
And in that moment, it's funny that I was so embarrassed that then I took gummies, and then I don't do well with weed.
You took gummies?
Bro,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
so
yeah.
bad. Like, then
That's
I couldn't move, you know? So I was like, I think, you know, it's been a fun rodeo,
Yeah.
but I think I'm good now.
Okay.
You know?
Jesus.
That's a lot.
So, okay, and then that's when, so that's when you said, okay, I got to do something.
Yeah. That's
What'd you do? How
so
did your healing journey begin?
So I didn't know what I was going to do because I was like, all I've known is partying. All I've known is to have girlfriends that we say we're best friends. And then like comes the week, I don't hear from them, you know?
But
And then the weekend comes
They wanna
though,
go
they're
out.
there.
Yeah,
they want to
let's
go
go out.
rage, you know? And I'm sure a lot of girls can relate to this. Like when you're in that bathroom at like Saturday at 3 a.m, you know, doing one, God knows what. It's like your besties, you know? But there's no depth to it. You know, I feel empty, you know? So I didn't know any other life than that. So that's when I started. I knew one girl that was always freaking happy, sharing her being in the bathtub, like in the jacuzzi, sober, without drinking. And I'm like, happy. And you know when someone's pretending to be happy and you're like, I think they're lying.
yeah.
She was like, it was this light about her. Her eyes were glowing. You know, like when people have that spark in their eye, it's like their soul
Like a
is
genuine,
alive.
yeah.
Genuine happiness. I'm like, how do you do it? Like, show me the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got me into a group of girls that were all didn't drink, didn't drug, you know, and it was all about emotional healing. And they call it emotional sobriety as well, emotional intelligence. It's also about mental health. But we're people that had my thing. You know, what I have in my mind, the thing is not the alcohol, it's my mind, right? They call it like the addiction of more. Right, it's like never enough. It's like this rush.
Not so much alcohol. It can be tied to anything. That gives you that high.
Yeah, essentially, you know. And it's like I'm never satisfied, but just being. You know, there's always something that is off inside of me. And some people can relate, and that's how it started for me. Once I did a lot of my work, I worked in a lot of my abandonment issues from my dad leaving when I was, 3, this shit. It's like, man, like this is the way out. I want to share this with someone that knows what it's like to be in hell and want to get out.
But was this a group that was around that, or how did you look for that healing on your own? Was it on your own?
No, well, it was
them?
through her,
Like a
through
support
that
system.
friend. Yeah, it's like it's a support system.
So she was actually a part of something. It wasn't that she's just
No, it was like literally a group of people that don't drink, don't drug, right? And then they, work
pretty
on
cool.
themselves. Yeah.
So you haven't drank since then?
No.
Wow.
I will say this though. I got out of that group because I was like, I'm gonna, I got it. I figured it out. And then I got in a toxic relationship and he wanted to like smoke weed. And I was like, no, I don't do that shit because I know where that leads me. And then I started smoking and then smoking became, we had problems. So I would smoke and we would have problems. That's my thing. When I use anything to get out of myself, it's usually to numb my bad feelings. I don't work through them.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that your mind was working.
Yeah.
Like always needing.
Like coping.
More, yeah. It's like I hate being in my skin. It gets to that point. That's why I have to do things that make me feel free. Because if not, it's
because I'm not always feeling free in myself.
Well, if I'm not feeling free, I'm feeling,
right.
shit,
So then you go,
and then I try to use to make me feel better, and it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn. No. It could be overwhelming, because that's one hell of a story for you to like what you've been through and where you are now. Even though you're not really actively in that group anymore, I feel like it's.
I am
still
now.
Yeah.
I came back.
You came back.
Oh,
After the toxic relationship, I came back.
Okay.
I was like, all right. I think
And they
I need-
embraced you back in.
And they were like, girl, welcome home.
Awesome. I love that. That's good, man. It's hard to find friends like that, especially down here in South Florida.
Tell me about it.
Right?
Talk about it.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think, man.
No, I mean, it also feels, I don't know, because when I go to my gym, the Zooms, I also feel like that's a nice little community there every single time I go.
They don't smoke, they don't drink?
No, I'm sure some of them do. They do smoke, they do drink, but you can just tell
Heroin
that.
too? Heroin too?
Not that it's,
Then I don't want to date them.
I'll ask next time. I'll ask next time. Who hears them?
How are you? Do you do heroin?
Yeah. No, but just being like that, I just think it all comes down to the environment that you put yourself into.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
Yeah.
that you were in a really bad environment, and then you
Yeah.
found a different environment where you really understood, this is what it is to feel emotionally safe, emotionally healed,
Yes.
around people who understand me, who've been to hell and out,
Yes.
or back or whatever. And I think that, you know, it just depends. Like, I'm using the gym as an example, and
Yeah,
I think many people probably do feel the same thing about the gym, but it's also like the community and the type of people that go to that gym.
Yeah.
It's a very different mindset. And then looking back, because there was some stages that I was freaking crazy, where I wasn't waking up on hotel lobbies, but there were still times that I'm like, what
do you mean it's
the
fun?
fuck happened last night? Or why did I do this? Or why
Yeah.
did I continue? I shouldn't have. I'm better than this.
Yes.
And then, you know, I was talking to my friend Carlos about it, where I'm like, imagine if we had the kind of friends that we have in Zoom, like that type of community, when we were in that stage. Like, would we have been
Yes.
different people? Maybe we have had different influences
Yes.
to really kind of go in that direction rather than going out and partying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's also a part of maturing and understanding and security within myself to learn who I am, what I like and what I don't like. But it's also, I think us as people, we're very easily influenced by our surroundings, especially early on, because we really don't know who we are. And I feel like, you know, finding a community or an environment like that allows you to really feel safe and really understand yourself. I mean, I feel like I was able to find that within myself, but also I have that constant nurturing within my gym. But it's also like you have that with your, I guess, support group, but they're
Yeah.
also your friends, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like we all need to just find an environment that really caters to what our interests are.
Yes.
And I think that also
Yeah.
allows us to fully understand. It almost supports our ideas. Because if you constantly live your life with certain beliefs and people are going against it, you start questioning whether you're sane,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But if you would kind of align yourself with people, and it also ties into what we talked about when we started, like dating and being yourself and having your own lifestyle and
Yes.
attracting those
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
It's not just in intimate relationships, it's also in platonic relationships. It's your
Yes.
friends that you
Yes.
attract as well. And I think being around a support system allows you to really affirm that within yourself, and then that will constantly just build that security within yourself and attract more people in your life.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
it's
those
a
same-
ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel like every experience, shapes you into who you are today. So,
Yeah.
and you even said it earlier, you gravitate to men or you like men who've experienced, who've been through stuff. In the same way,
Yeah.
you've been through stuff as well.
Yes.
And look what you're doing now with your life. You're helping other people.
Yes.
So think about if what happened to you in the past, if that wouldn't have happened, would you still be the same to you that you are today? And I don't think the answer would be yes. I think
No.
you would be somebody completely different. Same with us. Like, yeah, you said, you've had some crazy years, so do I. But it just kind of brings you exactly to where you are today. So who knows who you would have been even if you had those people around you. And obviously it's great that they're around you now, but if you had them around back then, there's no telling who you would be today. So at the end of the day, and we always say, be proud of who you are today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
absolutely. Yeah.
strive for better. But at the end of the day, if you look in the mirror in the morning and you're happy with who you are, that's it. That's all that matters. In the grand
Well,
scheme of
that
things.
acceptance, right? It's
Yeah.
like you accept all of you. And that's why I love
the
when you
bad,
said, where is it? Show compassion. Compassion can only come through you going through something that is similar to them and having empathy, right? It's like being compassionate to them. It's like, yo, I know what you've been through. And they're like, wait, you know? And then
Yeah.
there's this magic that happens, this connection of safety, because
Understanding.
understanding,
Accept-
openness,
yeah.
vulnerability. Now I can really share what's going on here, because some
Yeah.
people, when they don't feel safe, they're like,
Yeah.
But I think it's also, you were saying in the context of having a conversation with somebody else, but it's also important to be compassionate towards yourself.
Oh,
be
that's the
vulnerable
first
towards
thing.
yourself and say, yeah,
Yes.
I've been through stuff. I made mistakes. I've done this. I've done that. But that's okay. And a lot of people, I think we're too harsh on ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what did I do? Who the fuck was I? You said it. Well, you did the best you could with who you were at the time.
yes.
And so I think it's also very important to not beat yourself up over some of the mistakes you've made in the past.
Well,
So I think
that's
it's
the
important too.
goal, is self-acceptance.
Yeah.
Accepting your past, all the shit you've done,
The good and the bad, yeah.
the good, the bad. And I will challenge that even. It's like, is there good or bad? It's like, if you're learning through your experiences, everything is part of this journey of me becoming who I am every single day, getting to know who I am more, right? That's why there's toxic positivity, I call it, when you're always good, you know, you're always happy, you're always, you know, like all this shit. But it's like, yo, but what's that other part of you that you're suppressing and not accepting? Right? Your anger, your fears, right? Like all these like negative qualities that really are not negative. It just makes you human.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of times like that perceived failure could be, you know, a catalyst for really profound reinvention of who you are, who you want to be. And so it's so important. What looked like maybe of a devastating time or whatever, now you can use that and make it into something that's beautiful.
yeah,
Something that helps other people.
that's the
And
goal.
you know, and
to
I think
help.
that is so big. And I think that's where the path that you're on too.
Yes.
Same for us.
Yeah, I think it ties into also relationships where you reflect like, oh, I should have never dated them, or they're a piece of shit, or
I regret this.
what was I regret this, and
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you learn about it?
Yeah.
Like, who are you today after that experience that you think was so bad?
right.
Think of the lessons that you learned that shaped you as an adult, as a human being.
Yeah.
Do you learn to feel certain emotions that you probably would have never been able to feel in another
Yes.
relationship? You were able to understand and learn about different people and really see that not everyone is going to be perfect. Not everyone is going to act the way that you want them to act.
Yes.
So now you also have to be compassionate and empathetic
Yeah.
and being like, well, I need to try to understand them, or at least open my mind to different types of people, different types of beliefs.
Yes.
And I think that that's where everything kind of comes full circle, because even on those bad relationships, bad experiences, there's always a lesson to be learned, as well as a
Always.
positive experience.
Yeah.
It reinforces what you like. It reinforces how you like to feel. It reinforces you as a
Yes.
human being, because you know what it is that you like. And that's constantly kind of, affirming that within yourself. So I think that every opportunity, every experience, every lesson, whether negative or positive, there's always some value that comes out of that and really will shape you as an individual.
Yes, and
So important.
in relationships, it's truly the way to truly grow, because you can't hide.
Yeah.
You know, if you're constantly like, you're single and you're just going, meeting new people, they don't really get to know the depth of who you are. Right? Especially fears come out a lot in relationships, right? It's like, you're triggering this shit that I tried not to show everyone. Now you see me. Now I can't hide. Now I got to work on it if I'm on the path of growing.
Sure.
But sometimes when people are in a relationship and I trigger one of your fears, right? I tell you, you're just like your dad. And you had a bad relationship with your dad, right? Let's just say that she's a bitch and she says that, but it's like, that wound, it's triggered, right? Maybe someone that doesn't really know a lot about you, right? That's a friend that you don't really know, they don't know a lot about you. That's shit that doesn't get triggered because they don't really know you.
Yeah, that is true.
So in relationships, that's when you really get to see your fears, right? Like,
yeah, but if someone were to tell me that shit and
I
they know
know.
that that's a soft spot for me, then that just tells me everything about you. Like, I've learned so much about you as an individual.
Exactly. Do I want to be with someone like that?
Yeah, exactly.
For putting
Maybe
me
that was
in
a bad
position.
example.
Yeah, no, but still, I'll be like, bitch.
Say it again.
Say it one more time. Let's see what
Round one.
Yeah.
Where you going now? Yeah.
Yeah. None of that
Yeah, but it's more like in my relationship, I'm seeing it with this guy that we're on the same journey, right? He's sober too, like me, which is what works for me today. But a lot of times I realize that because I'm becoming vulnerable with him, and this I'm becoming like I love him. It went from like to love, right? And the fear whenever I love someone, if my fear of abandonment is still there because my daddy left me when I was 3, right? It's like that gets triggered, right? It's like, and then I feel vulnerable, and usually girls are like, please don't leave me, right? But I take a pause. I'm like, this fear is coming up for me. I'm going to work through it, right? I'm not going to lash out to him, because that would be that I'm feeding into the fear, right? But it's more of like, I see this coming up for me because I'm in a relationship. I feel open. This is an opportunity for me to grow, not run from myself.
I think that's where you said it earlier, emotional intelligence. You're aware of what is triggering you. You're aware of the triggers. There's always going to be triggers in life, and certain things that, kind of put the trauma of your past to the spotlight. But it's how you respond to those triggers, right?
That's emotional intelligence.
That is what kind of puts you ahead of the game, so to speak. So the fact that you're aware of it, okay, this is bothering me, let me bring it up, or let me navigate through it in a manner that doesn't or isn't detrimental to the relationship.
Yes.
How maybe in a couple years ago you would have responded completely differently.
So
that, you know,
a little Latina, not gonna lie.
yeah. So exactly. It's the same for me. Some things happen, and it's like, well, okay, like how I respond today to certain problems or whatever. It's a lot differently than 2-3 years ago. Life feels completely. It feels like different people.
Yeah.
It is different people. You know,
are.
and so but I
Always
think I think it makes me very happy, and I think the younger version of me would be incredibly proud, and I think so for yourself. And
Oh my
yourself
God.
as well. So
Of course.
I think that's what life is about. That's what relationships are about. You know, continuing to grow and be better, which is why I love this podcast so much, because we have guests on and they challenge our perspectives, and you said it earlier, and they bring certain things to the table that without the show we would never have.
Exactly.
So I think it's a very good
love
opportunity,
that.
and I
Makes
think
you think.
it makes you think, and that's a goal. You know, makes you question some of the things, you know, that you thought were, you know, just reality.
Yeah.
Did we ever really find out what it is that she does?
No.
All right, good. So before
I'm a mentor.
So before we do that, because I know that you talk about healing and how important
Yes.
that's okay. So I want to ask a general question. This is stemming off of the issue we had this morning, right?
Okay.
I want to know. I'm going to ask you individually. I actually want to start with you, because
Okay.
then I feel like this is more your wheelhouse. But I'm going to start with you. What do you think it means to be truly healed?
Oof.
What it means to be truly healed.
That is a good question. But after this morning, I'm curious now. I don't know what it means anymore.
I think, man, it's. The question is, are you ever truly healed? Right. So, from certain things, I feel like there's certain things that happened to me, and I thought I would be over it. I thought I was healed, and then something happened, and it's like
The trigger.
the wound, like the scalp, you know, kind of was peeled off a little bit, and it's like, oh, I thought this was gone already.
Mm-hmm.
So to be honest with you, I don't think you ever truly heal. I think you just learn to live with it, learn to cope with it, and see how you respond. So by definition, is that healing? Is that being healed? Some might say no. I would argue if I respond in a different manner than I did yesterday, then that is healing, you know. But I don't think that healing is a final state.
It's okay.
That's
It's always a
I think it's always a constant evolving of emotions and responses, and kind of how something happened to you. Because something could have happened to you 20 years ago, and for 19 years nothing. It was you thought you were healed, and nothing happened, and then one day something happened. Do you say, well, no, I've never been healed? Because for the 19 years nothing triggered me, but then now today something happened, an instance, all of a sudden, is that all the healing not done for nothing?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think I was healed. I think this was just a trigger. That's kind of my thing. I don't know if that makes much sense, but to me,
let's ask the expert.
Yeah.
The expert.
What do you think?
Oh God, please don't call me an
Expert says.
Just experienced. I love your answer.
Thank
I
you.
really do, because it's true. It's
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, it depends who you're around as well. That sometimes you're like, oh, I'm healed, and out of nowhere, someone else, you know, brings it up 10 years later, and then you're like, oh, I gotta look at that shit again. You know,
I didn't
like
even
you're
think
saying.
about that. That was out of mind.
Out of mind, out of sight. But then
guess
you're like, oh, maybe
I-
I've been suppressing it.
Oh,
You know, for me,
Has it been out of your mind?
Yeah.
At that point, has it really been out of your mind?
really
right.
deep down, you know, shut
You're
down.
like, oh, let me hide it away.
Yeah.
As you were saying,
Healing for me is not being controlled by my emotions. You know, healing for me is not being controlled by my fears. You know, that's healing for me, right? And this is where emotional intelligence comes in, because IQ, right, is critical thinking. It's
Yeah.
what we're taught in school, right? Math, learning, right? Learn through your critical thinking. EQ is emotional intelligence. It's like, okay, this is what I think I should do. How do I act? That's where emotional intelligence comes in, right?
Very well.
So for me, healing is not being as control, you know, or enslaved to my emotions, not being as reactive, right? Learning to respond rather than react is how I like to connect to it.
yeah.
So
I use logic for all of my decisions at this point.
Very well said.
that'll save you some
Because the thing is, I pause because I know that us as human beings, we are very emotional creatures, and
course.
we respond off of emotion. And they always say, well, it's that gut feeling or follow your gut, whatever. But sometimes it takes, I guess, more of an analytical approach and really thinking like, okay, does this make sense? Would it be fair if I did this to somebody else? Would it be fair if I asked someone? Would it make sense? Would it solve the issue at hand? Because if we're going to be fighting, what is the issue that we're fighting about? Oh, it's about, I don't know, this fucking table. I don't like the fucking color. Well, I need to think about it. I'm not going to get, oh, well, this color's fucking hideous, Marvin. Why the fuck did we get? It's like, well, but does it match the, it kind of does match, it's small. It doesn't take up too much space. That this does make sense, and that's where I try to make my decision. So even in relationships or, intimate or platonic, it's like, well, would I want them to treat me this way? What if I did a decision? Would I want them to blow up on me? No. So I would not want to blow up on them.
Yes.
So I always take an approach of, okay, let's use a little bit of logic before we allow emotion, because it can hurt. But are we emotionally strong enough to say, okay, let's put that aside.
Yes.
And really focus at what the topic is. Because if we talk about emotion, then it can get real ugly. But if there's something that we got to solve and there's really an issue with something else, if we throw emotion, it's going to get clouded.
Yeah.
Let the dust settle. Okay, what is the real problem? Let's now address this like adults, thinking about what the solution will be for both of us, rather than, no, pause. Yeah. Let's be smart about our decisions. Let's use a little bit of logic. And that's helped for me. I know it probably doesn't work for everybody, because sometimes, people get a little upset and things get taken away. And then another issue comes up, or maybe something that's been suppressed also comes up in that situation because it was never addressed. So that's kind of how I always
that's
approach.
true. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way of thinking and having that. If you're skilled in that way and you can navigate through that, it's great to do. I mean, not everybody has their own approach, but what might make sense to you might not make sense to somebody else. So also kind of navigating through that is
But approaching with it logically, now I'm able to say, okay, well, if I want them to listen to me, it's only fair that I listen to them.
Logically.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it needs to make sense. Because if you feel a certain way about it, it's like, okay, well, then let's talk about that. Because I want to understand why this is bothering you. Because emotionally, you're attacking me in a different way. Pause. What is the real issue? Okay, so you just feel upset because of what happened. Do you think I had control over the upsetting you? Well, no, I know you didn't do it on purpose. So then why are you freaking out?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the issue, because how you perceive, like, logically, depending on what it is, but not everything is black and white. So it also depends how you perceive the issue. That's when you said it earlier, like, I want to understand. And I guess that's where the logic comes from. Because something happened, an incident happened. How did you perceive that incident? And it's like, well, maybe you thought this was happening for one way, and they kind of understood it completely different. Like with your situation with the toilet, the thing. Well, if you would have had that, if you wouldn't have had that conversation, you would have been like, yo, what the hell?
Well, she didn't
happened?
have the conversation.
Exactly.
She realized it.
So exactly, in hindsight, but like that. So you would, your response would have to be like, okay, like what went wrong? Like what happened here? So instead of just kind of assuming. So yeah, you're making a great point. Having that.
Yeah, that's what if that was a situation. Like, let's say my partner were to do that, I'd be like, yo, you don't flush the fucking toilet? They're like, no, I did, but it just won't go down. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Let's fucking, that's how I would do it. I address it directly.
I love that.
I'm not wasting my time, and I'm not gonna get emotional. Like, yo, why the fuck is this like? No, I'll be like, oi, water's yellow. You didn't flush it. Yeah. And then from there.
And then, oh yeah, I didn't, like, it's not working. And then you're okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
But that's how it's. Just face it, address it. This is the situation. All right.
Instead of like being mad, upset for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, like, and then now I got to figure out why you're upset. And we're there sitting in quietness, or you're different. And then they're like, oh, yeah. And then you're like, oh, you didn't flush the toilet 30 minutes ago. And it's like, well, if you would have asked me, I would have told you it's not working.
Yeah.
But then again, you could have also said, hey, the toilet's not working. Why are you not saying anything? Why are you not saying anything with the fucking toilet?
I'm here upset and the fucking you didn't tell me.
Why didn't the guy tell you?
Yeah, right.
Now I'm like upset.
Right? I gotta find that guy. You should have told me and I wouldn't have judged you.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing. But no, you made a great point. I like that. It's very well. So I guess,
you bring really good points. And it makes me think, right? You're very logical, right? So would you say that you need to date someone that is emotionally intelligent? Or do you like the chaos because you're so structured in a way that sometimes guys that are very structured, they kind of like the crazy because it kind of
You can like cut through the
makes you
bullshit.
feel alive or whatever.
Dr. Hasty said it best. We did like some attachment style quiz. You probably had to do it too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we both did, and I think my partner, I think that she was also secure. I think she just answered the questions wrong because some of the questions were a little confusing.
I
It's
know.
like, there
We
was
had to
double
go-
negatives,
Yeah.
and not this, and I'm like,
What the fuck? Yeah.
no.
Mm.
Then you find out that it's kind of not the right answer. But regardless, I think we're both kind of like pretty secure. But he did say a comment based on the first results. He goes, we noticed that my results were almost like to the T. I was like almost at maxed out on security. Yeah. And then hers was a little bit lower, and she goes, and then he tells us, the fact that Chris is secure, so secure within himself, it allows you to, one, be more attractive or attracted to that kind of person.
Yes.
But it also allows you to be encouraged to be secured as well. Ooh. And on the contrary, it won't make me want to be less secured. Yes. Because I'm fully secured. It's only going to allow that person to be more secure. So to your question, I know what I bring to the table. And I know who I am. If it aligns with me, great. If it doesn't, whatever. But what I've learned is whenever issues come up, maybe someone's not emotionally, secure in that sense, I just wait and I let them vent. And then I'm like, okay, so that's how you're feeling. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Ooh, that's very good for
I need to understand
yeah.
because I'm so emotionally intelligent. Where if you're spazzing out over something, okay, well, I know you're not at my level yet. That's fine. Let's see if we can get there. So now let's talk. And based on our conversation and based on how I'm reacting to you and giving your respect to listen to you, this is who I am. This is my value that I'm giving myself, giving you your shot to talk. So now when I talk, guess what's going to happen? You're going to listen.
You're a man.
Exactly. So then that's how I approach it. So even if you're going through everything and emotionally you're all over the place and all that stuff, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to let you speak. I'm going to let you finish. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, my turn. Now I'm going to talk. And then we have to see if the actual issue, the way they respond, if we can handle that, great. But if you're just going to go all crazy, you're not going to listen to me. No. This isn't working out for me.
And some, and I love that you're the secure attachment. Yeah. I have like sometimes like anxious attachment and avoidant. I've had, I consider myself secure attached now. Sure. But in my past, it was like, it was like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me. Once they were like there and like in love with me, I'm like, that's too much.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's like, that was, but back to what you were sharing, right? It's like some girls, if you don't match their crazy, they don't think that you love them. It's like, you're not fighting for me. There's no fire, that lust, and then make up sex, and all this shit. It's toxic as shit.
Right. But that's, I would address it. Because if you feel like, well, no, I just feel like then you don't fight for me. Or like every single time you're just so chill about everything. It's like, because I know what's important here.
Yes.
And what's important is not whether there's yellow water in the toilet seat.
Yeah.
It's whether you tried to flush or whether you tried to fix it. That's what's important. Because the problem is that there's yellow water in the toilet. Right. And I know it's not your fault. Right. So let's avoid the bullshit. It's not working.
Right.
If we fix it, would this be handled?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then the problem is the toilet, not us.
Exactly.
Let's focus on the fucking toilet.
No,
that's
exactly.
my thing. So in everything that gets applied, whenever there's something like, because of this and that, I mean, like, is the issue that you don't feel like I'm fighting for you, or is the issue that I'm more worried about what's important? And whether that's not important right now. What's important is to solve this, because then that's going to solve everything else.
Yes.
So that's just kind of how I approach everything. And I'm very vocal about it from the beginning, because I don't want to waste my time. Like,
right.
I ain't got time to be wasting on a fucking, no, like, that's it. Like, let's just handle what it is and let's focus on this. If you and I need to have a healthy relationship, how can we get it healthy?
Yes.
And it's not going to be by those emotional outbursts. That's not going to work for me.
And, women that usually are very chaotic, that's what the environment was as a child.
Yeah.
So they saw their parents fighting and they think that's love.
That's normal.
That's normal.
How it's supposed to be.
That's what we do. If you fight for me, if you call me all these names and all that, and it's just chaos, and then there's like resolution. Okay, that's the dynamic that is normal.
And they're my parents.
They're
together.
They're together.
This is how it's supposed to be.
It's how it's supposed to be. And some women try to, you know, recreate that in their relationship because that's
all they know.
love.
Yeah.
And then they see someone like you, secure, attached, and they're like,
chill, calm.
what
chill.
the, wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, oh, he's boring. You know, you can probably get that, some of that. It's
Sure,
like,
probably.
yeah, but it's
Probably.
healthy, girl.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what a healthy relationship look like.
Yeah, 'cause don't get me
They're like,
wrong.
Dumb bitch.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not a boring motherfucker either. You know, I
Very
like to
dumb
have
bitch.
fun too.
Of course.
But I'm not going to use I'm not going to have fun at the expense of emotional security and emotional health. You know, I don't think it's fun to play toxic games like that.
Right.
That's not fun. That's not healthy.
No.
That's not who I'm about. If you want that, date a 23-year-old.
Yeah.
No offense. Date a 23-year-old.
I think he's still single, by the way, ladies.
Well, probably. Anyone out there who wants toxic,
Give me him
hit
a
up your
shout
girl.
out.
She'll put you down. But no, but seriously, like then
That's
that's just
awesome.
not for me. I just know my value, and I know what I know what I bring to the table. And if you're able to then match with me, then we don't have to focus on the emotional toxicity.
Yes.
We can actually focus that time that we would be fighting
Yeah.
on healthy fun and doing things to
Yes.
really nurture the relationship.
Yes.
That
Yep.
could be fun. But if your idea of fun is fighting and then making up and the makeup sex and all that stuff, date a fucking 20-year-old. Date
Yeah.
someone who doesn't know anything about life, and then you'll constantly have those questionings. The where are you? The drama. I ain't about that. I know what I'm
Yeah.
about. I know what drama is. I see drama. I walk the other way.
Yeah.
If you want drama, then you walk that way. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be walking in the same
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
You go that way, you ain't gonna see me again.
Yes.
So
well,
that's
good
how I
for
do it.
you.
And if you don't like drama and you're gonna walk the other way with me, all right, let's work
Ah,
together.
I think
We
I
can
like
walk-
you
we can
next
walk-
to me.
We can walk that path together. But if you want to do drama, no, you keep walking that way.
Keep walking. I got a vision.
Bye.
You know,
Keep that way.
you know, I got an
Exactly.
empire to build. Look at you guys, you know, like, and that only comes because you have chosen to let go of people that don't support your vision, that drain you. I call them emotional vampires. It's like sucking the life out
I feel like we heard that before.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not the same person.
Ah!
Oh, it could be.
Actually.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
actually, it could
Was
be.
she
Could be somebody
crazy?
else.
a little cray.
I've
Something
heard-
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways-
That's okay. We love everybody, and,
Yeah.
and sometimes we don't like everyone. You know.
That's true. That's true.
We gotta love them anyways.
Yeah, we do. Always.
Buddha style.
So yeah, we are gonna start wrapping up towards
Perfect.
the end, but I do need to get. I still don't know what the hell this girl does.
She's a mentor. She's a mentor. Dude.
What does that mean?
She mentors people.
Emotional
To what?
healing.
Emotional healing.
Emotional
No, stop
intelligence.
saying anything. What does she do?
She mentors people finding their inner child. Is what she's about.
So
helping
how?
them
But
heal.
how? Take us through that. So look, you have.
I just told you my life story.
So that's how you do it. So then, okay, let's say you have people.
Yeah, we go raging, doing all the drugs, and then I take you out of that.
Well, you have a course, right? Like you have a, because I was on your website.
Yes.
Those are the questions I'm asking right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have a
okay.
qu-
You see solution. I like that.
Thank you.
You have
Yeah.
a course.
You guys
So
are here getting
Yeah.
emotional right now, and I'm here trying to think logically. Here.
Yeah. I had a course. So it was last year. I will have another one.
okay.
And it's all about how to heal from toxic relationship and create a conscious relationship. So you talked a lot about that. Yeah, and I saw the need with women. And
It says break free from toxic love. 6-week
From
online
toxic
workshop.
love.
It ended.
yeah.
So you're gonna have another one.
Yes. But if people go to my website, it's www.healingwithcristy.com.
We'll put it all there.
Cristy, CRISTY.com. People always put an H in that shit.
I was thinking yeah, make sure.
That is it.
We'll put it down on the bottom.
We put it in the description and everything. Like that.
Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, shoot me a message. Right now I'm doing more of 3-month coaching and mentorship because people change and, they say you break a habit in 90 days kind of approach. And consistency is important in this work too. It's like, now I know everything. Okay, bye. And then you kind of regress a little bit. So I just like get you going,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's what I do.
it's mostly like experience based. So everything that you've gone through, that's kind of like you're applying that into.
Among other
mentorship?
things. I mean, I got certified in trauma work,
How does one get certified in trauma?
Oh, funny you asked. There's
Talk,
schools for
talk.
that.
Hey.
There's incredible mentor in the trauma world. Because they say that it's not what happens, is your reaction to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
I say that
know,
all the time.
and that's trauma, right? It's very personal, right? So that's why sometimes it's like, toughen up. You know, you don't know how they took it. You know, you don't know how it affected them emotionally. So we do, you know, a lot of the trauma work, but I'm all about also getting close to your vision, what it is that you want for your life, and how we can get there together. So I support you, full blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible work. Life-changing, to say the least.
I love that for you. And so the course is like online, is it virtual?
Well, it like
Yeah.
ended, so is it like live?
Well,
There's
that's
two.
my workshop. So I do one-on-one right now.
Okay.
So that's the 3-month, you know, mentorship, and it's called Living in Freedom.
Living in freedom.
And how often do you like meet with these people?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, so I meet with them virtually once a week.
Okay.
And I use something, you know, it's a communication platform that basically we have weekly goals, and I hold you accountable. I coach you, you know, I support you. I create that safe space always, so that you feel like you have someone there with you, you know, because fear gets in the way, and then you're like, oh, I don't gotta do that. And then, you know, you don't feel like doing the right thing all the time.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I have that like day to day as well with them. And then we meet once a week, you know, what were your challenges, you know, what were your wins? Celebrating the wins is very important. We're very hard on ourselves
I like
and
that.
full of shame
Yeah.
and all that. So we celebrate the wins, we look at the challenges, what got in the way, and then we, you know, reevaluate, change some action steps is what I call it. So what are we going to work on in this week?
I like that.
Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you are in that spiritual, you know, you want to tap in spiritually, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not necessary. You know, I don't try to shove spirituality.
No, but
you know?
but it's an option for people.
Definitely.
You know, and I like that. I think we're very privileged to have people in our lives who care about us and who have some of these, you know, skills and the knowledge, but not everybody has that. So for some people, they can reach out to you and they can, you know, confide in you. They can, you know, have you as their mentor.
Yeah.
But have that kind of relationship. I think that's great. It's incredible what you're doing.
Thank you so
know.
much.
Should be proud of
I'm
yourself.
just taking notes
Thank
on
you.
for this real quick. I'm getting ideas.
I like it. I like it. I like it.
Eee, let it run.
But
Yeah, I'm
that's
very
awesome.
passionate. I'm very passionate because it saved my life. You know, at the end of the day, it got me from living in living hell. I think that you can live in hell in your body, right?
Yeah.
How do they describe hell as like fire? When you're constantly angry, you know, it creates that fire inside of you. So it's living hell. Now going to the other side, do a lot of the healing work. It's like I live free. I live in light. I live, you know.
It's also people go
like a
through,
feather.
they walk through life and it's just miserable. And it's like, dude, like, why are you so mad and angry
Yeah.
and bitter? It's
Yeah.
like, just be happy, be grateful that you have the life that you have and try to make the most out of it. And so I think most people, they generally aren't happy with their life, but
Yeah,
they don't do, you know, what it takes to get out of that life. You know, like we, you know, we're not where we want to be, but, you know, it's Saturday afternoon and we're here doing this, you know, because we
Right.
believe in it.
Yes.
So, you know, everybody has to make their own choices in life and
Yeah.
and their own steps to become better. And it sounds like that is what you're doing. So that's
Hell
awesome.
yeah. Living in purpose, you know?
Living in purpose. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that there's like 3 stages in purpose is, you know, how do they say, are you making money, right, out of it, right?
Okay.
Does it bring up that fire inside, that aliveness, right? And are you helping
I
someone
know
else?
what you're talking about. I think I
Yeah.
know the video you're talking about.
Yeah.
The video?
Yeah. I think Jay Shetty talks about that.
No, there was another guy who said it, but he goes, yeah, like if there's something that lights a fire in you,
Yeah.
then like that's
Yeah, you
more
gotta
true
pursue it.
purpose.
Yeah.
He called it something. Ikigai. You guys ever heard about that
Ooh.
one?
No.
No.
No, this is the perfect time to be fucking put
Promoting another video?
I don't
Turn
have
that
that
on.
on me.
You don't have the remote on you?
Oh,
What do you mean? Oh, this is your the fucking
He didn't,
podcast.
He
You
didn't drink
don't
his
have it?
coffee.
I don't have it
Wake
on me.
up,
He didn't drink his
dude. Wake up.
coffee.
Let me see if I can find it while you guys. But no, basically he's saying it means something, but it really promotes like. And Alex, I'm hoping that he can drop it. Oh, it's right here already. I bet you I'll find it on the. How do I go to fucking? How do I get out of here, bro?
YouTube?
But YouTube's already up there. Fucking
Oh, yeah.
finally, dude. I have to go all the way around. But no, basically,
This is so cool.
yeah, this is actually pretty nice. I gotta see how to pronounce this, how to spell it. Maybe you don't know.
Oh, there it is.
oh.
Oh,
No.
No.
Is it like this?
I've
No.
never heard that before.
No, I'm not gonna be able to find it. No, not like, because I don't know how to spell it, but it's this guy who he talks about it. Yeah, we'll find it and I'll send it to you later. But he basically says how like everything is kind of like there's different things in life that you do and they all has a different purpose, but they all kind of come together in the middle. It's almost like a Venn diagram where they all kind of do something differently, but then together that's where you find your true purpose. Oof. And if you can find that, that's very difficult in life to really come across. But if it lights that fire in you, then that's what you kind of have to go after, because that's what life's true purpose is. Yes. So again, it's like, can you help someone? Is it valuable to the world? Does it make you happy? And then can you make money off it? Something like that.
No, that's
but then they all overlap within each other. So then the first two overlap and it means something, these two overlap, but then in the middle, that's what it is. And that's what the purpose is. That's what you go after.
I love
finding that, I think is what's gonna really help. Maybe we should drop the video somewhere. Alex, throw that shit here real quick. Pause it. It'll play.
I'm sure you can put a link
mute us,
too.
and then
mute us. Pause.
Should I take a safe job or one that might make me happier but less safe? There's a Japanese concept called ikigai. Ikigai is the intersection between what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. It is the bliss and purpose and intention behind what you're doing. There's a reason you get out of bed. It is your purpose for being alive. If you're lucky enough to find something that sets your fucking heart on fire, then disregard what you think people think, get out of your head, get out of your way, and go create the life that you want, because safety is an illusion, happiness is a choice, and everybody's gonna die. So go get them, Tiger.
All right, now we'll come back to that.
Hey, we're back.
All right, Phil. So if Alex did it, you probably saw what we're talking about. Yeah. That's what it could come.
That's so dope.
We gotta find the video.
Wait, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to Alex, and then he'll know that at the hour 20 mark, somewhere around here. That pause.
Look at you.
And then we'll put it back in.
Yo, that's awesome. I love that you can do so many things at once. That's the business mentality too.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep trying to find this while you guys. Well, do you have anything else to?
No, I mean, I'm just happy that you're here. Like, you came on. And that's essentially the goal. You know, when we have guests on, we want people to have different beliefs and different ideas, and also some of the things that align with us.
Yes.
So I mean, we're grateful that you came on, and yeah, what's next for you, like on your journey?
I hope more adventure.
Well, you're gonna be going on a yacht.
Yeah.
Soon.
So we'll see.
Multiple.
It's that one of the things that we did in training, we went inside of a building that was on fire. They created a fire, and we had the whole suit, like the fire, and then we had like the air,
the
oxygenation, whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought I was gonna die. Because my eyes started burning. I'm like, I think this carbon monoxide, that's what the fire releases, and that's what's bad for you. I was like, I think I'm going to die.
But what were they trying to achieve? What was the training for?
We had the water, so just in case a yacht catches on fire, you know how to put it out. So
damn, it's very realistic.
Yeah, very realistic, because I think it was borderline real, Yeah, but no, man, like I have my foundation. Like my emotional recovery is very important to me. Mental, having people around me that are like-minded, it keeps that fuel. It kind of puts that. It's kind of like the blood in my veins. It's like it keeps me running, right? So those are things that are foundational, important to me. And then from there, I can adventure, right? I can go out for 2 weeks in the yacht. I can continue to do, my coaching on the side as well. So, it's like I can't do it all. I'll see how I can still do my practice, because that's my purpose in life.
Yeah.
But the great thing about yachting is that you can create your own schedule as well. You can work like maybe 3 days and then make a bunch of money, which is like loaded. That world is loaded with money.
I love that for you.
Yeah, because my vision. You want to hear my vision?
Yes.
Bring it on.
Do it.
I want to buy a farm and call it the Healing Farm.
Oh.
And let's say that you are struggling with, you can't stop drinking, coming out of a relationship that took my sanity. I was married for 40 years. He cheated on me. I don't know what to do with my life. Come on over. These people that are really wanting to work on themselves, heal, and you come to this farm, we'll do breath work, we'll do trauma work, we'll do inner child healing, horse therapy. So I want my horses, because that's my favorite animal. That's dope.
And
Yeah, and you come for a week, you come for 2 months, we'll have tiny houses there you can stay in. That's the vision.
Is this going to be in Miami or Puerto Rico? Or?
To be determined. So I don't know. Maybe Puerto Rico.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That'd be
going
dope.
back home and
To the
creating
roots.
that. Yeah, always
like
to the
that.
roots. I
like
keep
that.
my roots alive very much so. Listen to all
That's
that salsa,
awesome.
but yeah.
So it sounds like, sounds like you have a very like nurturing aura and like mentality. And I got to ask, but I know we have to wrap it up. Do you ever see yourself like having children?
Great question.
And being that nurturer to them, because you
Yeah.
feel like you're doing it for everybody else, for yourself. You think you can ever see yourself with a family?
I'm open to it. I'm open to it. I had a period in my 20s that I was like, for sure I'm going to be a mom. That's what you're supposed to do as a woman.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, there's other things you can do besides being a mom. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And today in my partnership, like that's something we talk about.
Yep.
If it happens, amazing. I'm sure there's so many incredible things that comes as a mom. I'm very nurturing, like you say.
Yeah.
I
That's what I was
nurture
asking.
the shit out of my cat. He's like my son. So I have that, I overwater my plants, kind of, they grow mushrooms, like it's like I got something to love,
Yeah.
So I'm open to it. The thing is that, life is so unexpected that I also try not to like marry myself to an idea. Yet I have a desire that, if it happens, hell yeah, let's go,
I like that, and openness.
It's just openness. Because if I have it, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm going to be a mom and I'll have 2 kids. What if I'm infertile?
What if it doesn't happen
What if it
the
doesn't
way?
happen?
And life never really happens the way you want it to happen.
Yeah.
You have these expectations. Oh, by 30 this and by this and that, and I gotta have
Yeah.
these amount of kids, and it's like you can't control none of these things. It's not up to you.
No.
Like in a perfect world, sure, great. Sounds great on paper,
Yeah.
but it doesn't always work that way. And it sounds like you have so many different things that you want to do, maybe before, maybe during, maybe after.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that you're open to it.
Yeah.
And you're willing to kind of just take life head on, day by day.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have to do.
Honestly, just doing the next right thing is how I live. Everything else sorts itself out,
Yeah.
So try not to think so much on the future. It's like I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's sometimes scary. It's so overwhelming to think
Yeah.
about like what it's gonna be in 2 years. Like
Yeah.
because you can't control any of it, and it's like you're just gonna drive yourself crazy,
Crazy.
putting up these scenarios of things that could happen, will happen, might not ever happen. So all you can do is try to be the best person you are today, and okay, what is that you want to achieve today? And
Yeah.
said one footstep forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing the next right thing. That's how I like to live. Yeah. So
Love that.
thanks for having me, guys.
Of
Hell
course,
yeah.
yeah. You brought some great insight. I appreciate you.
That was actually really fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find it or no?
Oh no.
Ashawanga.
No,
No, I think that's what you're waiting for.
Yeah, what
No?
you looking up over here? How to watch Georgia Senate. Did you look that up?
No,
I didn't look that up.
Mm-hmm.
I think these.
This is our account.
Yeah, but this is not. These are recommendations, no.
No.
ESPN college football, definitely not me.
Who's using our accounts?
Guy.
Boxing?
Oh, Family
My
Guy.
Hero-
Hell yeah.
Family Guy episodes.
The Hulk.
The fuck is
Someone
this?
is a Hulk fan.
Are we signed
Oh,
in on
David
someone else's
Goggins.
thing?
Maybe we'll let's change the password.
Anyways, so to wrap up, I did find what it means.
Oh,
though.
I like that.
I'll go over
Oh,
it really
you
quick.
see?
Yeah.
But I didn't find the actual video of the guy saying it. But regardless, it's split up into 4 circles. And one of them is what you love. The other one is what the world needs, what you need to be, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at.
Yes.
Now, between what you love and what the world needs, that's your mission. Okay. What the world needs and what you can be paid for, that's your vocation. What you can be paid for and what you're good at is your profession, and what you are good at and what you love is your passion.
Wow.
But now there's little blocks that it's between what you're good at, what you love, and what the world needs. It's happy and fulfilled, but no wealth. Now, what the world needs, what you love, and what you can be paid for, it's excited and self-approval, but uncertain. What you can be paid for, what you're good at, and what the world needs, it's feeling comfortable but empty. And then the last one is what you can be paid for, what you're good at, and what you love. It is feeling useless but also satisfied. But all together, if you can find everything right in the middle, that's what Ikigai is.
I love
That's
that.
what your purpose is.
Percocets.
Alex you'll throw it up in the
Yeah,
video.
maybe I should take a screenshot.
Take a
of that.
screenshot.
That's so
Alex.
cool.
So it sounds vaguely familiar. It sounds like I've heard of
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send it to you guys, and you're gonna be like,
All these great minds, they all talk about that. And I love the mentors that I can just, when people say the same shit and it doesn't click, and then someone says it a little bit different, and you're like, that's what all these other guys are trying to say.
I'm gonna find it for you guys, and you guys are gonna have the same moment.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, we do gotta wrap it up. But while we do it, time to break up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the episode. Before we do so, we do like to sign off, and we like to give the guest a final thoughts. Basically, something you want to tell your younger self, something that you live by now that you want to share with the world, anything that's important to you. You can say it to the camera, you can say it to us, however you're comfortable, and then sell yourself with, where they can find you. I know you did the website, but anything else that you want to throw in there, by all means, you can as well. So, what would you like to say to the world?
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. What would I tell my inner child?
There you go.
Yeah, just keep being free, baby.
There you go. I like it. Easy,
short and simple. I love it.
Keep being free, baby.
Yeah.
Where can people find you? Promote yourself.
Yes, so you can find me on my website, www.healingwithcristy.com. I have my email there. If you email me, we'll get a consultation. It's free, the first one. We'll just get going and talking and see if we can work well together. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Do you want to give me for me to give my phone number? I just don't know. 305.
Here's my home address is.
My home address is.
You're going to have a bunch of 23-year-olds hitting you.
I know.
Hey, why not?
Why not? They're going to be like, I like her.
For sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
That was a great episode.
Till next time.
Ciao, guys.
Pura vida, baby.
Bye.
Hey, I like that.